Hey everybody, this is David Skarica. Happy Thanksgiving to my Canadian friends. It's National Heroes Day, which used to be, what's it called? Columbus Day. It still is Columbus Day in the States, but the markets are open in the United States, and we're seeing. We'll get Kitco up here for a second so we can see this. We're seeing silver. I'm going to scroll down because gold. We're seeing gold up to almost $4,100. We're seeing silver here to up to over 52, I think it is, as well. So we're kind of breaking out of the all-time high in silver. So for those of you who are unaware, which I'm going to show the chart on, you see silver hit 51.35, and in the US it's almost 52. So what we're seeing here is so for those of you unaware, silver kind of has this massive double top with its 1980 highs. You can see in 2011 it went to 51, or went to 50. And of course, this was very inflated because it was the Hunt brothers, whole cornering of the market. And then we had a pretty good correction. And that's an understatement. The silver went back to almost $13. And you can see I think it went to $12 during here, which was actually the lowest level since here back in, 2008. And now it looks like, I think we're going to finally break. So if we go look at what gold did, it also had some resistance, not as bad as resistance as silver at the 1980 highs. You can see here it had a little correction in 07, 08, right? Or sorry, yeah, and then so 06, 07, and then this correction here, which took it just below those highs again after breaking out to 1,000. Then ultimately went to 1,900, and then this decline here about 1050, 1,100. So that old resistance or old all-time high, after a few kind of failed rallies, did go higher. So I could see silver, if it does break out here, say going to 55, 60, then coming back to that 50 level, right? But I definitely think this is the start of something major. Of course, if you adjust this for inflation, this silver high is probably closer to 150 to $200. Like silver price in $1980 is probably at $15 in $1980. So that just shows you it still has a way to go, and as well. But I do definitely think that silver is about to break out here. And what we saw, of course, was Trump kind of threatened on Friday tariffs against China, where China wants to do restrictions on rare earth exports, et cetera, et cetera. And so all that kind of stuff going on. And so that's a big thing. And then Trump then reversed his threats today, and you're seeing the metals go crazy. Because I think part of the reason the metals go crazy is this is just more uncertain, more like this guy cannot keep changing his mind every day. You got to just stick with it, right? And no one, it's like they have this thing called Trump, where Trump always caves, so and that's what happened again. So it's just at some point, and then I think tomorrow is a Supreme Court decision on the tariffs, and I think they're going to not. I think there's, from what I read, there's an 80% chance they will vote against Trump being able to do all this, and it'll be interesting to see how things respond then. I don't think the market will respond as positive. People might think, oh, no tariffs, or Trump can only do maximum 10, 15% tariffs, because so much revenue has been generated. The Treasury might not get that revenue anymore, but they have to pay back that revenue. And so I'd be really watching the bond on that, because the TLT might really sell off, because all of a sudden they're going to have to issue more debt. And actually, if they have to pay it back, I think they've made about 250 billion from the tariff. So not only do they not get that, say 250 billion over the next 6 months again, or 7 months, they might have to pay back that 250. So you lose the 250 in revenue, plus you have to pay back the 250. So boom, that can increase the deficit by 500 billion overnight, right? So, but yeah, as for silver, this was my main thing I'm talking about today. This really looks like to me like this is going to be finally like a major breakout. Now, it's tough to know, because have we really broken out yet? Let's just go look at the 2011 high so we can see this better in the chart. It's like we're right there, and even at 52, we're not quite. I would like another dollar higher or so, but we're basically breaking out. And I know you get worried when this kind of move happens. I remember in 2011, I was quite bearish on silver, but I didn't think it was going to retrace this much. I remember I thought, okay, it could go back to 25, and of course it ended up going back, like I say, basically, because even though there's this one drop to 12, basically went back to about 14, 15, so I didn't expect to go down that low. And one thing to always look at too is the gold to silver ratio. And we can see we're still not high levels. You can see that 2011, it went down to 30. And that was a sign, yeah, probably was a major top in silver. Well, now we're still at 79. So that's something to watch because, of course, that went to like during the top in 1980 and went to like 16, which was the all-time low. So, I think this is a sign that we're kind of in the middle of this ratio right now. We're actually still on the cheaper side historically. I mean, going back decades, more, more than just 15 years, going back decades. So I think it's a sign that silver still has a way to go. So it looks pretty good. And like I said, what I've been talking about a lot in my pay portion letter is that this is like a currency revaluation because of all the debt that's out there, all the issues going on, government spending, et cetera, other factors, turbulence in global trade. Everything is being reset. So it's basically like the dollar is losing value against gold and silver, not just like or gold and silver is gaining value against all fiat currencies. So that's kind of what's happening. I think people are kind of not grasping this. This is not really a trade. This is like a reset, right? So that's why it's kind of going and going and going. Of course, there will be corrections along the way. It will get frothy along the way. I'm seeing a lot more money moving into smaller cap juniors, into like gold equities have done very well as well. And but I do think this is now a major move that is going to last probably to the end of this decade, And like I said, that does not mean there's not going to be corrections. There was a very steep correction in gold and gold stocks from 1974 to 1976. There were numerous corrections of 30, 40, 50% in gold stocks during the 2000s when gold went from 250 to almost 1900. So gold stocks crashed with the market in 2008. So there will be corrections along the way, but I just think we are in the midst of a real breakout here. And most people aren't invested. That's the one thing. Like the mainstream, I know a lot of you are gold and silver bugs. Like no one's invested in silver stocks. Like how many people do you know own Nvidia or Tesla? And how many people do you know own Avino Silver or Pan American Silver or Coeur d'Alene? Like like that's probably not even a question, right? Like it's a pretty easy answer. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So silver near breaking out. Let's see if it can get some legs in it in the coming weeks and months and get to $55, $60. Thank you very much.